grassroots.
Fantastic.
Strategy. Yeah.
Well, I feel like we're the grassroots media. We're glad to have you aboard. Welcome, welcome.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, totally. We're excited. Sitting here with City Council candidate Jillian Johnson. She is running for Durham City Council. She was just telling us she has not held elected office or ever attended a party meeting, but she's a mother of two. She's got lots of experience in the nonprofit world and what seems like a very strong vision for Durham. Although it doesn't break down into a simple stump speech, tell us a little bit about how you got on this path. I mean, what made you decide to run for city council, or why are you here today?
Yeah, so I've been living in Durham for 16 years, and over that time I've really seen the city change a lot. And I think some of those changes have been really great. A lot of the development in downtown has really benefited a whole lot of people. The increase in small businesses and really the vibrancy and bringing people downtown, I think has been really fantastic. And I know that lots of folks in the city have been working hard to get that to happen over the years. At the same time, though, I think we're seeing a lot of issues in neighborhoods surrounding downtown related to the revitalization that's happening here.
Right.
Rising home prices, rising rents, a lot of folks who are being put in the position where the neighborhoods that they have lived in and really been involved in for a long time are transitioning around them into areas where they can't afford or where the culture has just changed so much that they don't feel like it's their community anymore. So I feel like we're really at a turning point now where we have to make some decisions as a community, and we need to really be bold and be honest about where we want Durham to go. And do we want to grow our city in a way that's inclusive, that brings people in, that really harnesses the energy and the creativity of all of Durham's residents? Or are we going to continue developing into two separate and unequal cities where some people, where a privileged few are benefiting from all of the change and the revitalization that's happening, but there's a whole group of people who are being left out? So my goal and my hopes as a member of City Council would be to really bridge those divides and make sure that the benefits and the investment and all this energy that's coming to Durham is really shared broadly among all of our residents and not just a privileged few people.
Well, it's a super important mission, obviously, and it's some really powerful language to say, two separate but unequal Durhams, because people know what that reference is. And in some ways, I think it mimics some of the larger debate going on in America where we're talking about, 1% versus 99%. And if Durham's symbolic, and this is a forefront issue here, are people responding? How do you feel like your message is going?
Yeah, I think people are responding really, really strongly. I mean, just looking around, everyone has experienced what's happening in Durham. Folks who've been living here even for just 5 years have seen their neighborhoods
massive change. Yeah.
Dramatically, for sure. And downtown especially, we're seeing a lot of change. And I think that for folks who do social justice work and who are organizers and who care about community and really want to see Durham thrive, it's been something that's been on everyone's minds.
Yeah. Who are you working with in the social justice world, and what are you hearing about these kind of issues?
So for the last few years, I've been working mostly with youth organizations. I work out of the Durham Solidarity Center, which is in the basement of the Hayti. And it's a nice little co-working space where we...
We love co-working, sitting here in Mercury Studio.
Yeah, much smaller than this one. We just have a few folks, but we provide space and resources for smaller community groups that don't have their own offices. And we are able to provide meeting space at the Hayti also for those groups for larger events. And I work for a nonprofit called Southern Vision Alliance, which has two main projects: the Youth Organizing Institute, which works with folks from 13 to 18 on youth leadership development, and particularly around school push-out issues in the school-to-prison pipeline.
That's crucial.
Organizing young folks to be informed and be aware of those systems that are working in their lives. And then we have a group for older folks from 18 to 25 target age range called Ignite NC, which works on civic engagement and voter outreach and works on college campuses, focuses on a lot of the HBCU campuses in the state,
right,
and really organizes young people around whatever issues they feel are important in their communities. So we've done work on student loan debt, on Black Lives Matter, on just a variety of things that folks feel are critical in the particular context that they're in.
How's it going? I mean, when you say we're at a tipping point, sadly, I've heard a lot of people say in some ways it's too late for Durham. We're already gentrified, and we have a socially liberal but economically conservative population and government that says, well, at least gay marriage is working out. People are probably going to legalize pot. What can we do about income inequality? Too bad.
Yeah, no.
I mean, do you feel like a tipping point to me says that the issue is still in play? It's not over.
I do think it's still in play. I think we still have time, and I think that having a really strong advocate for these economic injustice issues on city council would be critical in moving forward.
For sure.
I think the city has a lot of things that they can do, especially around affordable housing in this downtown area. For example, we own land. The city owns land in downtown.
Right.
That could be used for affordable housing. There was a meeting last week at the city council work session where Durham CAN, which is a really amazing organization of congregations, associations, and neighborhood, which is what CAN stands for, brought out their people in force. I mean, it was an amazing showing of community support for affordable housing. Yeah, and when I first got there, I could not get in the door. Like, it was just it was packed. It was great.
Oh, right.
And really advocated hard for using some land right near the bus station for affordable housing.
Right. I know the land you're talking about. It's been a big issue what's going to happen, and I think people were at first shocked when Mayor Bell made a proposal about that land becoming public housing. So what's going on?
So I think there's one distinction I want to draw, which is public housing and affordable housing. So the
crucial.
public housing is for very low income people. Affordable housing is targeting people around this particular development would target people at 60% of the area median income, which for a family of four is about $40,000 a year.
In Durham.
Yeah. So we're not talking about a lot of money, but we're not talking about people who are facing severe material poverty. We're talking about teachers and firefighters and civic,
baristas and self-employed coworkers.
Exactly. So those are the folks that we would really be targeting with this development. And the city is committed to having 15% of the housing within a half mile of the light rail stations, a couple of which will be in downtown, be affordable to folks at 60% of the AMI. And right now there are 0 units of housing in downtown that are affordable for
every time I look at one of those new places, it's $1,500, it's $1,700. It seems to be marketed at a very high top end. I don't know, like San Francisco prices. I mean, I moved here from California, but part of why I did is because I couldn't afford that.
Completely. And it's amazing. Every time I look at the prices for a new development, I'm shocked all over again. I mean, it's just jaw-dropping rates for some of these places. And yeah, I mean, I think folks who are moving here from California, from New York, from places with much higher costs of living, for a while have been part of, why companies were able to demand these high prices, because someone moving from New York saw an apartment for $1,000 a month and was like, that's a great price, not realizing, what the market was here. But now I feel like we actually are kind of moving in that direction where we're having these really high priced apartments and we're not really reserving anything for, just ordinary working people and working families. So the city taking a key role on building that development that's been proposed and building more affordable housing on city land, I think is something that could make a real difference for Durham in terms of people being able to afford to stay in the city.
And do you see a possibility that we end up with the kind of city council that does that?
Absolutely. I think that Steve Schul has been a real leader on that, and I think that he has gotten the support of pretty much every PAC that's come out with endorsements so far. So I'm really confident that he's going to stay in.
Right.
And I think that folks have been really responding really strongly to my campaign. We got a really good ground game. We got a lot of folks out knocking doors.
Josh said he saw more of your signs than anyone else's anywhere, which I said that's impressive. We're getting the word out. Really trying to go out and meet the community. I've been going door knocking for the last month, twice a week, in communities around Hayti and around Central. How does that feel? I know I've personally knocked a lot of doors. I work for the U.S. Census, and I'm bilingual in Spanish, so they kept me on right to the end. And to me, it was an unbelievably empowering experience to knock doors in America and realize that Americans don't think about government the way, like Soviet Russia or Nazi Germany or so many places in the world, Venezuela, where if someone knocks on your door from the government, it's a fearful experience, it's an attack, it's what am I doing? Americans were like, oh, you're sweating, come in, have some tea, how about a lemonade? Let me tell you about my life and my family for the census. So how's the response going for you when you're walking around Durham?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not from the government, so any people who would be
But you're running for government office.
I am running for government office. I think that...
I mean, people's like for the politicians in today's day and age is almost zero. They have so few of them have favorable ratings, even our mainstream candidates,
So true. And I feel like I have a lot of conflicting feelings about that word politician.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, I've had a really good experience going out meeting folks. We have been trying to meet people who are high propensity voters, so people who vote in all the municipal elections already, and who are leaders in their communities, so people who will get out and spread the word.
Right.
And I have had several people invite me in and, give me water and tell me that, hey, I saw your sign and
Right.
it's good to meet you and here's what I think about, what I care about in the city.
Right. What are you hearing that they think about and care about? What's on people's minds over in that area especially?
Yeah, definitely gentrification. A lot of folks are really concerned about the way that Durham is developing and making sure that that development continues in a way that is more inclusive and really reaches out to folks who have not been involved and feel like they're missing out on the benefits of that development.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, I think that it's something that really hits home for a lot of folks in a lot of different parts of the city, and I don't think that every part of Durham needs to develop in the same way.
Right.
For example, there's folks, out in North Durham who are very concerned about increasing commercial development in their neighborhoods.
Sure.
And then there's folks out in East Durham who need grocery stores and need pharmacies and
Right.
need basic services. So I think that we need a holistic strategy to really, focus on, bring everyone's needs to the table and focus on building solutions that work for everybody.